ABC's Brian Ross on the scene in Boston. Good morning, Brian.
Well, good morning, George. Overnight, authorities told ABC News that 19-year-old Jahar Tsarnaev has now begun to answer questions from a special team of federal agents assigned to find out if there is an ongoing threat. But those important communications are only coming in writing because of serious wounds he suffered during the weekend's dramatic capture.
Now that the mainstream media has confirmed that the second suspect of the Boston Marathon bombings is not only alive, but also communicating through writing, due to the gunshot wounds in his throat, another smoking gun evidence just surfaced on the internet, pointing out not only that the bomb attacks of the 16th of April was an inside job, and the Chechen brothers are the patsies, but also confirming the existence of an industry specialized in creating domestic terrorism and urban attacks with mass murder of people in the USA.
We were going as fast as we have ever driven, any of us. And we were running for that building.
And what did you see? What did you hear?
I could hear shots.
Alternative investigations made by various debunkers of these false flag attacks, more and more common in the United States, found out that the three supposed police officers seen in this interview made by the CBS News, who allegedly were in the team of first responders in the shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, on the 14th of December 2012, actually are the same mercenary operatives spotted at the Boston Marathon, with a group of other private assassins identified as personnel of the Kraft International, one of the countless Blackwater type of paramilitary contractors that abound in the United States.
There is no words that can describe.
Make no mistakes, these are the same men in both events. A piece of compelling evidence that leaves no room for doubts about the existence of a private apparatus for staging domestic terrorist attacks in the USA, and probably even worldwide. But as long as the US government always have their double agents, patsies and mind-controlled assets playing a scripted role for entertaining and misleading the sheeple, nobody except conspiracy theorists and a few people who don't fall for the psyops created by the Zionist cabal, dare making questions, and don't accept the official version of the facts offered by the mainstream media. According to the latest reports of the mainstream media, the US federal government filed 2 charges against the Boston Marathon bombing second suspect, counts that could result in the death penalty if he's convicted. Though absolutely no investigation whatsoever was ever conducted to find out what these mercenary soldiers were doing at the marathon, or why some of them were positioned where the pressure cook bombs were allegedly dropped by the official suspects, or even why these private black ops wore backpacks identical to the ones carried by the Chechen brothers. At the same time that the US government makes sure of eliminating all liabilities of another inside job, the mainstream media ignores all evidences of the presence of private assassins at the Boston Marathon, and pretend that those pictures do not exist. As long as Americans condone and support a culture of violence, even when it happens in their own backyard, the powers that be have no difficulty whatsoever to keep their secret agenda going on and cut the loose ends of these false flag events. Even when they are heavily exposed, as in the Boston Marathon bombs, most people still in denying and refusing to see what's right in front of their eyes. Whilst the sheeple is spoon-fed by the mainstream media with the convenient version of the facts, and the liabilities are taken down one by one, the actual culprits are untouchable by the authorities. The real perpetrators who are part of a shadowy industry of black operations, and stage terrorism both in US soil and overseas. Even when there are plenty of blatant evidences, the truth is always buried under the cover-up apparatus of the US government and the Zionist media outlets.
What I can say is I am really sure, I am like 100% sure that this is a setup. My two sons are really innocent, and my son would never do this. My son, it is a setup. He was controlled by FBI like for 5 years. They knew what my son was doing. They knew what actions and what the sites on internet he was going.